everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I set up my March bullet journal spread. So I started off by first thinking of a theme, and what comes to mind whenever I think of March is flowers and the sun, grass, and like a whole bunch of like springy things. So I decided that I was going to draw a giant jar on the first page to be the cover of March, and I was also going to draw a couple of flowers inside. So first I started off by sketching out the mason jar, and I actually used a reference from Instagram, and if I can find the picture I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see what image I was referencing for this picture. And I wanted it to be detailed, but I also wanted it to be simple at the same time, so I added some details here and there, but overall I kept the image very simple, but you're still able to tell that it is a mason jar. And then I also used some of my Tombow color markers, and I drew out some flower stems, and I added some of the flower stem buds as well. And then I went in with one of my pink markers and I drew in the flower petals. Now I'm not exactly sure what kind of flowers I was going for, but I knew I wanted them to be pink. And then I went in with a darker color pink after that, and I added some shading into the flowers, mostly by the bases of the stem and on each of the petals. And I also added some petals falling down from the flowers onto the bottom of the mason jar to kind of just fill that empty space and add some more color. And then I went over all of the flowers and I lined them with my Artist Loft micron pen in 03. And I finally added the word March to the bottom. Now I originally wanted the March word to be bigger, but since I made my jar a little bit too big, I ended up having to kind of squeeze it into the bottom there. And for the left page, I am dedicating it to two things. So first, on the top, I made a space to write down things that are due next month in April. So usually I will have deadlines or things come up and they'll be due later in the semester. So I like having a space where I'm able to write down those due dates so I don't forget to write them down whenever I do my April spread. And then I also have a space where I can write out my YouTube videos ideas too for the month of March. For the next two pages, I'm going to be doing week 1 and week 2. I'm going to first start off by ripping out a big piece of craft paper, and you can also use brown paper bag like how I am. I like to reuse the things that I have, so I'm using a piece from my Whole Foods bag. I'm also getting out a bunch of these stickers and items that I bought from Shein a while back. I bought these pieces of paper that look like book pages, so I'm just going to rip out a small piece of that and paste it right where I placed the craft paper earlier. I'm also going to be using some of these stickers that look like pressed flowers. I was going for kind of like this vintagey spring look, but also making sure that everything was going to be pink as well, which is why I chose a pink flower. And I'm also going to be using these miniature calendars that I bought. I really love the colors of these. They're kind of like a mustardy yellow. And I also like the fact that you're able to fill in the month and the year, so you're able to use it for any month. And I'm going in with my Tombow brush pen in black, and I'm writing in weeks 1 and 2 and also decorating that with some white and black stars and circles. For each day of the week, I first lightly sketch out each of the squares so that way I know where I'm going to place them. I also want to make sure that they're going to be the same size and that they're spaced evenly. And then once I have done that, I go back over them with my black micron pen in 03. So once I have finished this, I'm going to be using my Tombow brush pen in this dark pink color, and I'm going to be adding it to the tops of each of the squares, and this is where I'm going to be writing each day of the week, so Monday through Sunday. So moving right along to the next two pages, on the left side, I'm going to be making my week 3 setup, and I'm doing a very simple layout. This is just going to be 8 different squares, one for each day of the week, and I also left an extra one to be my notes box or my to-do list. And on the right side of the page, I'm just pasting on a piece of brown paper bag or craft paper. And in the center of that, I'm also adding a piece of lined paper. So on the bottom, you can see that I also added a piece of copy paper, and it is layered onto a piece of square brown paper bag once again. And I'm also adding a bunch of different lists. On the bottom, I have a to-do list, and on the top, I have what I spent this month. And in the center of the brown paper bag where I put the lined piece of paper, I am going to be writing a quote. And the quote is, "People will forget what you said and people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And I feel like this quote really resonated with me because when I do think back to people I've met or people I've known in the past, I really do remember how they make me feel, and that's kind of how I remember them by, the ones who've made me happy and the ones who've made me sad. So that's why I decided to add that quote. And of course, I'm just adding on the days of the week to week 3. And now we are moving right along to the last week of March. So you guys might have noticed that I already previously sketched out how I wanted these 2 pages to look like before I started filming. And now I am adding 2 giant pieces of brown paper bag that I ripped out, and I'm just adding them randomly throughout the page wherever I think they look best. And I'm just going over the squares that I previously drew with my black liner pen by Artist Loft, and then I'm using my pink Tombow brush pen and I'm highlighting where I'm going to write the days of the week. So this is week 22 through 31, and I have 2 weeks on this page, so these are the last 2 weeks of March. And the last thing I'm going to do to decorate this page is add on some more of those flower stickers that I showed you guys previously, and I'm just going to add them on randomly throughout the page where I think they look best. So that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you all enjoyed my March bullet journal setup, and I hope you guys really enjoyed the theme that I chose for this month. You guys can go ahead and leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought of today's video. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Bye guys!